Hey, welcome to Pagitt Radio. It's the October 24th edition. I think it's October 24th. Broadcasting live from Seattle, from the Seattle School, and a little in-studio concert going on today. Yeah, it's great. Do you have a name for the band? Or I was just going to say it's Tara and Nathaniel, but there's more of you than this.
There's more. It's just Church of the Beloved, actually.
Church of the Beloved. Okay, so Church of the Beloved is this church here in Seattle, and it's new, and you've made your own music, and you're trying to spread that outside of your own group singing.
Yeah.
Like you're intentionally trying to share that with other people. That seems to be an intention.
Yeah, I think one of the values, and this is also our liturgy flow, is welcome, story, presence, and gift during a service. And I believe that the giving away, the gift part, is kind of what this album is about.
I see.
But throughout the album, you'll probably hear the flow of welcome, story, presence, and gift. So.
I see. And you're seeking to give this album away, not have people pay for it.
Yes.
The way you're asking people to pay for it is for people to feel that they're part of the project through this Kickstarter campaign. So they give money because they feel like they're part of it, not because they're buying buying your talents.
Yeah, they're basically being a patron of the arts, and then the arts get to be accessed by whoever wants to access them.
Public art.
I see. So it's public art with a patron. And in this case, the patron are a few thousand people who chip into the Kickstarter campaign.
Friends of Church.
Yeah, and it's not so different than, that's the way it was done in the old days, is the church would actually patron different different musicians. Like that's how a lot of Bach and Handel pieces came to us. So it's
Shakespeare and other things too, that genre. And then it turned into a resource exchange, which is a fine way to do some things. But you all are choosing to do it differently.
Yes.
And if you're a listener to Doug Pagitt Radio, on the Facebook page, there'll be a link to this Kickstarter campaign. If you contribute $20 or more, how am I going to know? We got to figure that out. We'll have to figure out the details
of how
you
probably.
How someone knows.
Oh,
they should email me, or can they?
Well, actually, there's a date by which they'll get their goods.
Yeah.
And so
can they put a note in there or something? Yeah. All right. So some way you'll know, or someone will
figure it out very soon.
And I'll send you a pack of books if you contribute $20 to this little campaign, or more. You can contribute more than that if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was asking you before the break to talk a little bit about the genre of this music, because it's not hymns. It's not from that genre.
Some of it are hymns. I could play a hymn for you that
like your hymnology.
Yeah, it's actually the same. One of the songs on the album is "Of the Father's Love Begotten," which is actually a very ancient melody. It's a chant melody, and I kept the melody, but I just put some guitar chords to it.
Yeah. So is it the same words that are in it? Is it as an actual hymn?
Yeah, it is. It's an actual hymn. So sometimes that is what we do. As the worship director there, I like to choose things that are either have some history, you know, so I either like to rework some old words or some hymns, or I like to have someone from the community write something so that we've got this aspect of new things being drummed up and creativity. Or I like to use things that are local, so I'll play songs that friends have written, like Zadok, who went to the Seattle School. He's a member of my band. Yeah.
Seattle Sound.
Yeah, often Seattle sounds.
Now, does Seattle Sound just peak in the early 90s, or is that just a non-Seattle person that thinks things like that?
Probably peaked nationally or internationally in the 90s.
Have there been new bands come out of Seattle? Because they used to be pumping them out all the time.
Yeah, there actually have been. There's plenty of bands here.
I would know them.
Have you heard of Death Cab for Cutie?
I do know.
Macklemore right now is huge. Riding a big wave.
Fleet Foxes.
Came
out of Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, none of these people sound like Bruce Springsteen. I don't know why I would any of them.
Wrong part of the country.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And are you guys? Does it ever cross your minds that you might be those people? I mean, you come from a city with, a history of producing sound to the soundtrack for the rest of the country. Does that ever cross your minds, or are you willing to admit it if it does? Does that seem selling out?
I don't know if I'd be no. I think I'd be willing to admit it if it does. It's since you asked the question, I don't know that I'd really thought of that necessarily. No.
Kind of speaking, as we were talking before, I think one of the big things we've done is encourage our community to really be a part of this process, and then obviously reaching out to the friends of our community.
Yeah.
And So even if it's to encourage other communities wherever they are to do that, hey, you can do this. This is something that's valuable and very possible to do.
Yeah, and I do think that there is a Seattle sound still that happens here, and I feel like the musicians that are in our community and the ones I've reached out to that are maybe even just friends of our community have a specific Seattle sound that I'm looking for, because I think, and that's how I approach worship, and I think even Zadok and I in the Opiate Mass is something we've talked about.
I
is
don't
that
know any of those words. What are those words?
I'm in a
Zadok and
band called the Opiate Mass.
The Opiate Mass.
Which, yeah, you can find that at theopiatemass.com, and then you can look up kickstarter.com
Is it religious music,
church.
the Opiate Mass?
It is, actually.
As in
It's
the
stunning.
opiate to the masses?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's very much, probably I'd describe it as like Sigur Rós meets classical music meets, maybe Bjork and
A lot of instrumentation, a lot of layers.
a lot of layers.
Levels.
Yeah. But
the concerts are like, I mean, they are worship experiences, like holistic, narratively inviting. It just draws you in.
Yeah,
It's
we've just
stunning.
started doing a residency, so we do a concert once a month.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of people come and they listen.
November 9th is your next one, isn't it?
Yes,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
And so
November 9th here in Seattle.
Yes.
Yeah, so that influences my music at Beloved as well too, and Zadok and other musicians and I have had conversations about being worship leaders and specifically in Seattle, just like the school, when we were talking about the school and location, because for a while it seemed like a lot of music that works in the East and in the South was just imported here, or even just church, the way that church is done, got imported here for quite some time, and
Didn't catch on.
yeah, or it caught on with people that were familiar with that, and I don't necessarily gravitate to like happy clappy worship music, which is kind of my weakness too. I tend to gravitate towards a lot of minor chords, but I live in a very gray city, so it's in some ways it's very appropriate.
Fits the sky.
Well, it's the Seattle genre.
Yeah.
You know, there's that kind of depressed melancholy, but deep into the soul, so don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes deep into the soul, and it puts words around things that have been unexpressible, you know, which is kind of cool.
So in the same way, there's kind of that classic Beach Boys sound, which feels like waves and light, and there's a depthful.
Definitely.
You can hear the
And it's
clouds.
very layered. It's very
You can
sophisticated.
hear the clouds.
Yeah.
I like it.
Ooh.
I think if you think about it, I think that music is definitely influenced by geography and weather, you know.
Yeah.
The geography of music. That's a fun
There's a
one.
TED talk on something about that.
Is
Is there? Really?
Yeah, on how spaces that music is performed in
That's right.
actually speak to how those pieces are then produced. So.
That's a great point. I mean, I even think grace has a geography in the sense that, you know, I use a metaphor talking about the geography of grace and this simple little wordplay. Grace is like water. It flows downhill and it gathers in low places.
Ah.
So there really is this, even a geography of grace. There's a geography of music. There's a geography, you could apply that multidimensionally, I think.
So what happens to our experience of grace when we don't locate ourselves within our geography? If we function above our locatedness, can we know grace, or does grace just become some kind of a veneer or some kind of a...
That's another great question. I think pastorally, which I'm a pastor, I would want to help walk people deeper into unutterables and give it voice. And in that sense, take us through the veneer, past the veneer, deeper into the darker waters. And even though it's a bit frightening, that's really the place Jesus hangs out, and be able to pastor people into different places, and that's transformation. And it looks different in different contexts, different neighborhoods, different families, you know, different cities.
As you said that, I mean, my mind jumped to the 23rd Psalm, and it's kind of, in that Psalm, we discover that it's in the valley of the shadow of death that we discover that God's been with us the whole time.
Yeah.
And I could picture, as you said that, the grace gathering in the low places. It made me think of the bridge illustration, like was it Camp's Crusade for Christ, where we kind of bridge
Stay up
over.
on top.
We stay up on top and we don't go into that deep place. And what would it look like to have an orientation that helps us to imagine that that's where we'll actually experience something of God and grace.
I'm not a geologist. Not anything really. I'm just some guy in a classroom.
You're a geotheologist.
But they tell me, whoever they is,
Yeah.
they tell me that underground, I mean, that's literally how water works as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it maneuvers its way through the crevices and cracks, and it locates itself
In the lowest place.
in the lowest places.
Yeah. And it gets through
And
the
it
weak
pools
places.
and gathers, and then therefore then it finds itself a sense of strength. I don't know. You're the radio host. You can.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, and even the whole notion that like there's only a few things a human being needs repeatedly for sheer survival. Not even for like optimal life, but air and water are on real short supply. To use
Right.
that as a metaphor.
Yeah, both are life.
Yeah.
And
And
water
so
is
if you're
life.
looking for that, play that metaphor. Looking for that water, it's in those low places. So is all your music depressing then, or is it just
No.
some of it?
Not all of it, but I would say a good portion of it. No.
Yeah.
I like to use
Well, it's not
minor chords,
depressive.
but
It's,
they're not.
no, I was going to say, because it's not depressive, but it's, I mean, you use that phrase, which I know is a music phrase. I don't understand it because I have no musical aptitude whatsoever, but
That's true.
that you play in the minor chords.
Yeah.
Like I was singing the other day, and somehow my wife literally had never heard Crash Test Dummies. Okay, you probably never heard of them either, depending how old you are, but they're a band from the early 90s. And I stumbled onto them again and was singing along sort of by accident, and she said, wow, that's the first time I've ever heard you sing on key with the Crash Test Dummies. God Shovel His Feet. So I don't get all that, but it's very low kind of. And I don't do that. But you said the thing about it's that you play a lot of music in the minor chords. Which does that mean that it makes it hard for people to sing, or it's
No, but minor chords tend to hold. They sound sadder. They just do. Like here's a major A chord.
Hey,
It's happy, and here's
that's Grandma's feather bed right there.
yeah. And then here's a minor, A minor.
Oh, that's a Spanish love affair.
Yeah, yeah. It can be very Latin, so it's it's got some different layers
Wow,
to
it's
it.
a different thing
Latin
going on
or-
Grandma's feather bed right there in that song.
That's how Grandma
Oh, with a
makes
bunch
sure
of
there's
kids
more
playing
grandkids.
around.
Or not as happy.
That one was
you
great.
know.
It was Papa and Grandma.
So yeah, I mean, and that's what I kind of learned is I tend to minorize hymns to make them new.
Okay, so
you know?
I'm guessing. I've never heard the
Yeah.
music of the Beloved, Community of the Beloved, or
Yeah.
this, but I'm guessing that you have people say to you things like, "Tara, that's beautiful. It's just really hard to sing with." Do they say that? Do they find that like you're doing something different with music than the bar tune kind of sing along simplicity? You get in praise music and hymns. I mean, they're of a particular style of really sing along. You know, they're sing-alongs.
Singable. Yeah. No, I don't get that as much as maybe once in a while people want to sing some happier songs, definitely. But hard to sing along with. I try to make them
Catchy.
yeah, and at least that there's a harmony to go along with. But yeah, definitely not as simple. But
Are you guys still doing the shape note?
No, we did shape
That
note
was a
for a little.
season,
It was a little
yeah.
season. That's an old type of singing that requires reading shapes, and it's all a cappella. So we will do different seasons. And in fact, if someone came to Beloved from listening to Hope for a Tree or Songs from a Mystical Supper, it wouldn't sound like the album, because we're actually a very small community with just a lot of creativity and gifts. And so on any given Sunday, we don't always have a huge band.
I see. Because I was going to, when I looked at the video that's attached to the Kickstarter campaign, there were many people with headphones on around microphones, like it was a choir or a big grand sing-along, not sing-along, but a big chorus.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, I should have given you the heads up. I don't know this. So will that be heard on the mic? So this is what's happening
I'm
right
guessing
now.
that's being heard right now.
So right now,
if we're being heard, that's being heard.
Here at the Seattle School.
What is that?
We have chimes that sound every 3 hours. It's a spiritual discipline of praying the hours. So it doesn't matter whether you're in class or a meeting or the board is meeting. Everything.
Or if there's a
radio broadcast happening. The chimes will sound, and it's a call to remind us that we are not alone, that God is, and that we participate in a rhythm of being that is marked best when properly ordered with a life of prayer. And so different people acknowledge it in different ways. Some people stop, some people genuflect, some people take a moment of silence, some will just keep it talking on through with the acknowledgement that our work is a life of prayer. And so it's acknowledged in different ways, but we as a community have covenanted to that. So I know that I should have given you the heads up on that. That was going to probably happen.
And so there's like speakers through the whole building?
Through the whole building.
Predominantly for that. I mean, is there any other reason there are speakers in these rooms?
That's the only reason. So we designed it exclusively. We have a dedicated laptop that is designed to send that signal through our building.
You've automated it.
We have automated it for our.
Wow.
It seems like a community like this would like have a crier. Or
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
You know,
I would love that.
Who would, you know what I mean? Like
in some ways we do. His name is Paul Steinke, but
is that right? Is that right? He does something like that. Okay, well that's terrific. So if we keep this show rolling, we'll get that.
We'll hear it again.
Yeah, we are fortunate to have this just in the middle. So you have a smaller community, but you've invited near on everybody in it to be part of this chorus, this choral, this big.
Yeah,
big
we
voice.
put out the call for our choir, and we got a good handful of people that got to sing words like "Love, we will not give up on love," and then "You are holy and you are here." I think that's what we brought the choir in to sing. So.
Great. Well, Kate, can you do another number for us? Can you do one
Yeah.
more?
Do you guys want to hear a hymn, or do you want to hear? No.
I
All
want to
right.
hear one of yours.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, I like a cover band as much as the next guy.
So, I don't want people to think other people wrote songs on this that sound happier, but I'm going to sing "Song of Praise" from a recovering cynic.
Okay, it's called "Song of Praise" from a recovering cynic.
Yeah.
Oh.
And just like we were talking about, I think that there are a lot of really, grumpy theologians even in Seattle, and sometimes at the Seattle School, and I was just thinking about that and how I tend to fall into that category as well. But I had this thought that was like, you know what? There's really nothing wrong with joy, and there's nothing wrong with having hope.
That's great.
And there's nothing wrong with faith.
Can't wait to hear
And so
this
that's
song.
what this came out to be. And it needs to build a lot, so I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but we'll see. There's nothing wrong with joy. There's nothing wrong with joy. There's nothing wrong with joy, though so many are sad. So thank you, God, for joy. Thank you, God, for joy. Thank you, God, for joy. Live joy. There's nothing wrong with hope. There's nothing wrong with hope. There's nothing wrong with hope, though so many despair. So thank you, God, for hope. Thank you, God, for hope. Thank you, God, for hope. Live hope. There's not on the album, but not here. So you're just gonna have to wait for it. There's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with love, though ambivalence reigns. So thank you, God, for love. Thank you, God, for love. Thank you, God, for love. Live love. And so what you saw on that picture of people is we're going to have a bunch of people singing love. We will not give up on love. Like,
Yeah.
that's my choir of loving defiance.
Ah, that was beautiful.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
So, Nathaniel, what's your part in all of this?
I get to
sing
support her.
sometimes?
Yeah, so I sing sometimes. I play random instruments.
He plays the water glasses.
Play the water glasses,
goblets.
Uh-huh.
a couple songs. Yeah, I just kind of have fun behind her.
Well, you should know my friend Heather Lynn. Do you know Heather Lynn?
I do
She's
know
a
Heather
musician.
Lynn. I didn't know you know Heather Lynn.
Yes, she's a Lutheran.
She is a Lutheran.
And
She's
from
visited
Minnesota.
us.
Anyway, she was on the show
before.
last week. And,
Oh, awesome.
And she has a husband in a similar way. Wears,
Yeah.
wears vests, literally. I mean, he was there at the show. It looks a lot like it. It's very fun.
That's awesome.
There's a whole thing going on. There's a whole,
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I don't
Yeah.
think he hasn't met Heather Lynn.
He didn't
She
know
and
you were an
I,
archetype. Yeah.
She and I
You are
did
an
a
archetype.
show at South by Southwest a couple years ago together.
Oh, you did?
So got to hang out with her and her husband.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks
Well,
for
terrific.
allowing
well, thank you.
us to
Thank you. And
play.
if people want to know about the Church of the Beloved, they go to thechurchofthebeloved.com.
No,
No.
actually, I would check out our Facebook page. Our website happens to be under maintenance, which is a
Oh.
little inconvenient this time. But Facebook
.com
slash Church of the
Yeah.
Beloved, or
Church
if
of
they
the
want to
Beloved on
check out the
Facebook.
Kickstarter, they can go to Kickstarter.com and search Church of the Beloved.
And if you're a listener, I'll put it up on the Facebook page.
And
That'd be
here
cool.
let me
for
just,
listening.
I mean, maybe they won't toot their horn in the same way, but in terms of like communities that are creative and exploring
Mhm.
and making liturgy their own, Church of the Beloved is in a class by themselves in the Seattle area. There's a handful of communities that are leading that charge, but I tell you, you walk into their gathering center at the Manor House. And I haven't been in. The last time I was there, actually, they were still in one of the buildings they were renting previously. But they just are so attentive, and they steward space that you just feel nudged in a communal and a Godward way that is just rare. And I just, whatever they're doing, the community they've created, with Terrace leadership and Ryan and the whole team, it's stunning.
Thank you.
Well, fabulous. Thank you again. Thanks for the music. And if people can support the project, which we hope they do, when do you hope to be done? What's the?
We're hoping to be done with the album in the first week of December. I'd
So
love
you're
to have
almost
it.
there.
We're really close. We're very close. But the fundraiser is part of that. You know, that ends November 18th.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so by November 18th,
Mm-hmm.
get your money in.
yeah.
People should have lots of money after the 6th, because they'll be done giving it to the
Oh,
President
that's
of the
right.
United States.
That's
if he
true.
says.
I never got
know,
those
I'm kind
emails.
of-
You don't get those emails?
And I voted for them.
$2 billion has been spent on this election. I just heard that.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
that
It'd be a good
freaks
time to
me
be
out.
in the advertising. Advertising rather. There's a good season for
Oh,
that.
man.
All right, well, thanks again. This is Doug Pagitt Radio broadcasting out of the secret community room of the secret bunker of the Seattle School, formerly Mars Hill Graduate School. For those who know that place, I can see the ocean
I know.
from right here.
Puget Sound.
I can
actually.
see the sound.
Yeah.
Not to be overly Seattle about it. I mean, honestly. I love it.
Elegant
Is it not
Bay
the
specific-
ocean? How is it not
Well,
the
it's
ocean? Tell
salt
me about
water.
that.
It is salt water, but it's not. It's an inlet. The sound is.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It's not connected to the ocean, you're saying?
Well, no, it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, it is connected to the
It's all
ocean.
salt water. It's all connected,
All
but
right.
it's
I was
just
just being smug right there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, so it's like the side of the ocean, a little sound. Yes, a little,
something
little
like
inlet
that.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I live in Minnesota, like it's the
Yeah.
ocean.
Okay,
This
sure.
flows.
It is salty if you taste it.
It's
yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah, from Minnesota, it's the ocean.
It's the
Yeah.
same water.
We just
Yeah,
go a
as it
little
goes.
bit further.
I
and
mean,
we
the
see
people in the
ocean.
Gulf do the same thing. Like they're like, "Oh no, you're on the Gulf side." You know what I mean? I'm like, "What do you mean I'm on the Gulf side? Like it's the same. It's the same water." It's all right. So anyway, from Puget's from the eyesight of the Puget
There you go.
Sound.
Puget Sound.
All right, so we're gonna be back here after the break, and no more music, just guy talk.
Just guy talk.
After the break, Doug Pagitt Radio, broadcasting live out of Seattle on DougPagittRadio.com, Ustream, and Spreaker. So stick with us.